Hi folks, I thought I'd do a short video to show you the kind of things I'm working on right now. And haven't had a lot of time lately. Staying really busy at work, getting used to a new schedule, things like that. And so I haven't gotten nearly as much work done and making videos and things like that as I would like. But I thought I'd show you what I'm working on now. This is, when it's finished and it's properly shaped, something I'm going to call a mule shoe. Now, what it is a way to hang my tree straps from my hammock. And I think it's going to work real well. This one's designed. I haven't finished cutting it out yet. I've got it mostly cut out. I got one little spot here I've got to cut out yet. This one, I can just put on one loop of my tree strap, wrap it around the tree, put it on a loop of my tree strap, and then hook it on. And it's going to make it a lot faster. You guys saw me struggle with the tree straps the other day. It wasn't that great. So I think this is going to be better. So I've really been pushing to get these done. Now, I wanted to show you, I don't have a machine shop. So I have to improvise. Now, this is a different one, okay? You see all these little holes I've got here? That's going to be a slot, and I'm going to actually sew a tree strap onto this. So this part will be permanently attached to my tree strap. And then once I cut all of this out, it'll hook over the other end when I put it around the tree. So anyway, as I said, I don't have a machine shop. So I have cut lots and lots of holes in this. Now this hole I cut specifically so I'd have this radius the way I wanted it. I cut this hole to have this radius the way I wanted it. And the rest of them basically are just, I fit them in where I could in order to be able to cut this out. Now what I have to do is cut this thick 1/4 inch aluminum. The only thing really that I've got to cut it with would be my little jigsaw, my little scroll saw, tabletop. And I'm using a wood blade, which is supposed to be sufficient for non-ferrous metals. Well, it's really slow and noisy going, I'll tell you that. So what I did on the back, this slot here, since this one's going to be narrower than the mule shoe, this is just going to be a mule hook. And I call it a mule shoe because it's narrower and long rather than a horseshoe. So what I did was I cut it most of the way through with a metal wheel on my side grinder. And unfortunately, as I said, I don't have a machine shop, and you know how OCD I am. I just refuse, absolutely refuse, to give something up until it's really worn out. So my little metal blade on my grinder was so short I couldn't get all the way through this 1/4 inch piece of metal. Let me show you. Okay. Now, see how I have my grinder mounted? Now, if I could find the handle that goes on this side, it would have been easier, but I had another bracket that was part of an old table that you could use to set this up. Well, let's see if I can find the rest of it. Yeah. This thing, what this was a way that you could put your grinder, you could attach it here, and then just use it like a chop saw and have, you know, your stock here. It worked really well until I lost the pin that holds it in and haven't been able to find anything to replace it with. So I just attached the bracket that it goes in to my grinder to use it instead of having to have a having to have a handle on the side, because I don't know where the handle is that goes on this. I've had it for about probably, I've had it about 16 years, so it's done well. But as you can see, I don't know if you can or not in this light, but as you can see, or not, sorry I keep stepping on the board that's sitting on. Here's the, here's all that's left of the metal wheel. This is, you know, I finally decided, okay, that's used up. I can't get to it except for with something right at the edge, and then I can't cut all the way through, and you can see I couldn't cut that far with this. So, this is the size it should be. So, needless to say, as I said, I tend to do it that way. But this works really well for me. It gets there. And it works. It's kind of a matter of trying to be pretty imaginative, you know. So, there it is. Okay, so as you can see from this side, you can see the light shining through it there. It doesn't look like much. You can see the design where I've drawn it on this side. So, then what I do with this, you can see I actually hit it a little bit with the side grinder there to make it thinner so it's not so hard to cut later. But then what I do, and let me move the camera again, I go over here to my little tabletop jigsaw, which was not designed for this, obviously. And I do try to kind of preserve my tools as best I can, because I'm cheap. And one time when I was working on computers, all the time I worked for a welding company. And they got a bunch of this, what they call slipstick wax. And it's for, it's a grease stick for lubricating things like drill bits, saw blades, you name it. Particularly good for saw cutting applications, it says. Prevents burning, welding, chatter, galling, and tearing. Okay, I use it all the time on my drill bits because they're not super expensive. It says good for drilling, grinding, sawing, tapping, cutting, spinning, pipe cutting. I also use it for metal spinning. I'm going to do a video on that for you guys eventually. So anyway, I digress, as I often do. So I use that on this also. I don't know whether it's helping or not. So then, this is just a Harbor Freight cheap little saw. You can see I cut a little bit of the, thinned it a little bit there so it wouldn't take quite so long to do this. Because this little saw really hates this hard aluminum. the idea there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish this. It will be very tedious with this slow saw for you to watch me do all of this. So I'm going to come back when I get the rest of this cut out and show you what my next step is. And we'll finish up the mule shoe also, as well as more or less finish up the mule hook, and then I'll show you what I'm working on next. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I am finished with the cutting, and I cut the last little bit out of this so that I can finish sanding it. This is a very cheap little Harbor Freight 1-inch belt sander. I've also had it about 16 years. I originally got it for polishing and shaping metal spinning tools, and it has been just a bear of a little sander. I use it pretty much daily. My drill press came from Harbor Freight. It's just a small tabletop one. I think it was 50 bucks when I bought it. I don't know how much this was, but I guarantee I didn't buy it unless it was on sale. And then the little side grinder, I think it was $20, and someone bought that for me so that I could do a job for them. Been using it about 16 years. My little $35 chop saw that had a crack in the guard, so they sold it, you know, for next to nothing. It was just an 8-inch chop saw, and it is finally about bitten the dust. So you may have seen I've got a new one over there, which was also on half-price sale. But I have finished cutting out this for the most part. Now, this slot here where the belt is going to be put through the tree strap and then sewn, I kind of hit it a little bit with the last tiny bit of the side grinder to kind of give me a guide, but I'll finish cutting that slot with my jeweler's saw. So now, let's see what I've got here. Aha! Now, I'm a crazy lady, but I'm not stupid, okay? These are super cheap, okay? One thing I learned when I was a chemist, especially working in hazardous waste, protect your respiratory tract. We talked about the zinc poisoning and tin and what have you and the galvanizing. Well, you just don't need particulates in your lungs. And I'm a little cavalier sometimes about it, but not when I'm sanding, okay? So, cheap. Buy them by the box full. Throw them away if they're dirty. Put them on. Use them. They're important, okay? Keep the dust out of your lungs. So if I sound a little muffled, you'll know that I'm not cheating, okay? All right. Now I'm going to show you how I do this. We'll start with this one, because this one I have already started, okay? And let's see if I can see what I've got here. Yeah. Okay, so this one I have already started. I've done preliminary sanding on it, as you can see around the edge. See how there's some little dings and divots? I've still got to sand those out, get it shaped up nicely. Okay. And this one, as you can see, needs a whole lot of work. We'll start with this one. I hope you can see this well enough. Let me see. Yeah, I think you're going to be able to see it more or less. The nice thing about this now, it's got a little steel plate here for when you want to get something really flat. I almost always use this free spot up here when I'm sanding. Let's see how loud it is. I'm not sure. So you get the idea. You can do a lot of the roughing out with this, and I'll finish that up shortly. Now, one thing I am going to do, I'll be right back, just a second. Sunday's talking to us down here. She's just mad because I didn't tell her we were doing a video. Right, Sunday? She says, ow. Okay. This aluminum gets really hot on this sander. Now, I would love to have something more than $1 a piece. Old, worn out, stained, dirty oven mitts. But you know what? I'm real glad I've got them because this stuff gets so hot that eventually I even feel it through the oven mitts. So let's do a little bit, okay? You can see what short work this makes of the sanding. Now, you can't get everything that way. If you're not careful, you'll get like little gouges and things in it where you try to kind of make it go around the corner, and instead the far side of the belt chewed a divot in your metal. It cuts really, really fast. So I'm not going to make you watch all of this. When I finish getting it all sanded out, I'll show you what I've got, because you know what the before looks like. Okay, you saw it from the beginning. So let me get this done, so you don't have to listen to the noise, and we'll be back. I promise that I will not take my dust mask off, and don't you either. Okay. All right, I'll be back shortly. Okay, I have these sanded about as much as I can sand them on that belt sander, but as you can see, it saved me a huge amount of time to use that. Like I said, it was a cheap tool. This one is really in pretty good shape. I'll use the jeweler's saw to cut this slot for my belt to go through, my tree strap. And I'll use some files and what have you. And I also always keep around some pieces of broken belt. And I can clamp these in a little vise and use some broken belt to sand them with. Can't find it at the moment. It's close by. Anyway. So I'll use some broken belt. I'll clamp them in a little bench top clamp on vise that I've got, and when I get them finished, we'll take them out in the woods and try them. I think they're going to be pretty neat. So there's the mule hook, and there's the mule shoe. The other thing I want to get finished before the next time is my fire buckle, and what I'll do with it is use the jeweler's saw to saw this out. And one of the problems I noticed I was having with the other one was I was using a fairly thin strap, and I cut the slots kind of wide. Now this one right here, it has to have 2 layers go through it. This one does not. It only has 1 layer going through it. So I'm going to cut a real narrow slot like this one in it, and we'll see how that works. I think it'll keep the tree strap from bunching up. So anyway, all right, so that's where I stand right now. I'm going to work on these a little more, get them cleaned up, and next time I go out to pitch the hammock, I'll have them finished, and I'll show you what's going on. I thought I'd show you also projects. Let's see. I am working on a hammock for Juliana. I'm busy sewing a rolled hem on it. And she's a budding teenager. She wanted black. So I'm making her a nice black hammock. And the other thing I'm working on, and it's a terrific mess at the moment, is my Singer 66 sewing machine. You see I have it sitting up on its tailbone here because I've got it sitting in a pan, and I've been kind of dousing it with penetrating oil and that sort of thing. You're looking at the basically the back side of it here, but it's in, as far as I can tell, it's in awesome condition. I've got it a little bit apart, and I don't know if you can really see this side. This is sort of the pretty side. It's got the somewhat worn logo for the Singer 66 Red Eye. It is, it's according to the serial number, it was made in 1919. I can tell you what day it was made, actually, but I don't remember. So anyway, it's just, I am stunned with the engineering on this thing. It blows me away. I think about all the electronic things we have now, and then I look at something like this bobbin threader here, and it is an absolutely brilliant, it's a brilliant piece of machinery. It is just, you know, it's amazing. So anyway, what you can do even without electricity. And this thing, bless it, I can spin the wheel here. Oops, I've got it on something, hang on. Like I said, just kind of propped up on stuff at the moment. Alright, there we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, there you go. Nope, it's still hitting on something. Anyway, it will spin like crazy. Let me set up the camera because it's just, it's an amazing piece of equipment. I love this thing. Alright, let me see here. We've got it all sitting up on things so that there you go. I just give it a spin. Look at that. This thing is just absolutely amazing. Watch. You got to see this again. So cool. Anyway, another project. These things they made, they're not rare. They made a huge number of these Singer 66s. I don't know when they started making them. I don't know if they made any before 1900 or not. I don't know. I know that I've seen them, you know, like 1909 ones that people have restored and are using. And I think they made them into the 50s. For all I know, they still make them. But I tell you what, They won't be as nice as these because Singer no longer belongs to the United States anymore. It belongs to China. So sometimes the quality is a little bit disappointing. But that's okay. I have this, and it's amazing. And it was given to me, cabinet and all. It was sitting under somebody's carport, and they said, if you can use that, take it. It's in my way. I didn't ask them 2 times. I just put it in the truck and left. Okay, folks. So thank you for joining me tonight in my little messy place here. Looked at my inventions. You'll be able to take a look at my mule shoe and mule hook when I get them all finished and shiny and taken care of. So thanks for visiting me here. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Any comments or suggestions, I'm always ready for them. I'm so far behind in watching my YouTube videos. I've got them all saved as watch laters, and they're all looking interesting to me, but I just can't find time. And I thought I would tell you that Sunday is, of course, right here. So, needless to say, she may not be in all of the videos, but she's close by. She's purring. All right, folks, been a pleasure talking to you tonight. Come back again when you don't have Sunday's face completely in your face. See you later. Bye-bye.